This episode of Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. To get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
This is Phil Perich, and you are listening to the Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks Podcast.
I'm here for Peter. And Dick, but that's not Dick.
It's Spider-Man, man. Anyway, welcome back to the Ultimate Spider-Cast. I am Phil. Joining me, as always,
It's Lilith Hellfire Hellfire. Back for the new year. What's up, people?
she who would not join a cult, but would create her own. That's right, kids. We're going to talk about cults today because it's part 2 of Flash in the Panuary.
We definitely still need a laugh.
This time, Web of Spider-Man 40, 41, 42, 43. From July through October 1988. Before the end times.
The before times, when life was simple. And you could dress up Joker as an Iranian ambassador and nobody got outraged. Hashtag scroll down.
Beat a teenage kid to death with a crowbar. No one bats.
Still get your own prank shop merch.
But make one clown an Iranian ambassador and people lose their minds. All right, come on. This is Spider-Man, not Batman. All right.
I know.
So we're back to normal. Back for Flash in the Panuary. We have Ray feedback at the end. We're back.
See, life is back to normal.
Mm-hmm. At least on our side. All right. I was very upset because, you know what? I got my Marvel Unlimited account again. These are not on there for some reason.
You know, Web of Spider-Man is one of those things. It's kind of like Shadow of the Bat. It's hit or miss if people carry it.
Well, some web issues are on there, but for some reason these ones aren't.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like
you to get a Comixology. I don't know why you're bothering with Marvel Unlimited. You should have got Comixology.
I don't know. I was looking for an issue for the Quantum Zone, and
get a discount with your Amazon Prime. I'm just saying, not the Amazons are overlord or anything. We wish.
But some digital issues, there's some issues that aren't digital. I was looking for one for the Quantum Zone. It was like an old Marvel 2-in-1, and it was nowhere digitally.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got to get on that. But also, I think it's a process about what's popular and demand of what they actually
I guess.
Go ahead and prioritize too.
But it's like the Web of Spider-Man. Some of them are in there, some of them aren't. I'm like,
well, these are Flash issues, you know. They know what's up.
Come on, kids. Flash Thompson, Betty Brant. Come on.
The kids don't even know, bro.
I know. That's why we're here.
Exactly.
All right.
But yeah, Disney should really get on that to get everything digitized, especially now. So.
I mean, other stuff I can maybe see, but I mean, come on, it's Spider-Man.
Yeah,
the Spider-Man's not
Spider-Man sells.
Exactly. So the Cult of Love. Oh, jeez. All right. I got synopses again, so.
Where'd you get them from? Good old
Marvel database.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, the first one, Web of Spider-Man 40, July 1988. All you need is love. Dun, dun, dun,
They're
dun, dun.
about 20 years too late for this, but okay.
Let's see. Jeez. Flash Thompson, you know it's good when it's the first two words are Flash Thompson.
Flash Peter Parker.
Hello. Flash Thompson is heading to the Daily Bugle building to tell Betty how he has got his life back in order since being cleared of being the Hobgoblin. Remember that, kids?
I do, and it was spectacular. Get it?
I think it was amazing, actually.
2 on the nose. Come on, Philip.
When he arrives in front of the building, he sees Betty talking to a strange man and wonders who he is. The man
This was
departs.
before Stranger Danger, guys. Don't worry.
I know. The man departs. Well, Betty will talk to any man. The man departs without introducing himself, and when Flash asks Betty who he is, she only says that he is a nice person. Something you don't see much of anymore.
Red flag. Red flag.
There's good people on both sides. A few weeks later, Spider-Man is swinging past Betty's apartment and recalls how he hasn't seen her in a while.
We needed to get a quick flash of some boobs. You know, we don't judge Peter, though.
Stalking your
He's still
ex-girlfriend.
being driven by his hormones. It's fine.
Stalking your ex-girlfriend, not good. And seeing a shadow in her window, decides to pay her a visit. Landing on the roof, Spider-Man changes into his civilian guise and thinks of all the troubles that Betty has had recently because of him. The murder of her husband, Ned, and her recent brush with death at the hands of the Sin Eater, which we'll get to next month, I believe, kids. Or is it the month after? He hopes that Betty doesn't ever learn that her husband was secretly the Hobgoblin until that gets retconned. Climbing down to the street, Peter knocks on her door and is shocked when another woman other than Betty answers the door. The woman introduces herself as Rita Hathaway, a real estate agent who's in the process of selling Betty's apartment. Hathaway isn't sure where Betty is and she hands him a business card before he leaves. Having changed back to Spider-Man, Peter swings across the city wondering what's going on with Betty, as she is never this impulsive. On his way to the Daily Bugle building,
I beg to differ, but okay.
But she does the same thing every day. Stands on the street, goes. On the way to the Bugle, Spider-Man spots Flash Thompson threatening the man that Betty was talking to a few days earlier. I wouldn't want to be a nice person neither. The wall crawler.
Get in on that sweet, sweet widow booty. You know what I'm saying?
Jeez, Lilith.
In your booty.
The wall crawler pulls the man away and asks Flash what he is doing.
Oh, hey, you bestie.
Flash explains that Betty's gone missing and this man may know what happened to her. Flash explains that he had been staking out the Bugle building to see if he would reappear, and when the man saw Flash, he made a run for it. Spider-Man tells Flash that he can't go around beating people up and promises Thompson that he'll find Betty and tells him to walk away.
Walk it off, Thompson.
Yeah. Flash grudgingly agrees and walks away. Spider-Man then acts like he isn't suspicious of this man at all and helps him pick up his pamphlets off the ground.
Pamphlets. Red flag number 2.
Yep.
Never trust a person with a pamphlet. Sorry.
Secretly pocketing one for himself before swinging off. Changing back into Peter Parker, the hero goes up to see Daily Bugle city editor Kate Cushing. He tells her,
"Where's my Robbie?"
In prison. He tells her that
exactly.
He tells her that Betty might be in trouble, showing her a pamphlet from a group calling themselves the Students of Love.
Exactly. I think that's one of Charlie's softcore porn movies.
I was gonna say, isn't that on your hard drive?
No, that's on Charlie's hard drive.
That's
titles. No soft titles here, buddy.
Every title in Lilith's library is hard. Kate knows all about the Students of Love. A cult, and explains to Peter how her sister Tracy got involved in the cult years ago. She explains.
Convenient plot point is convenient.
I know. She explains how her sister became depressed in her 20s, didn't we all, and started hanging out with members of the cult.
Well, no, that's actually a key tactic. When you cults look for people that are like in life transitions, so that they can prey on you. So like a lot of college kids get sucked into cults because they're away from home for the first time, and it's a lot of pressure and things like that. So yeah, at least they did a little research.
Watch out, Trump. Her family gave
his own cult.
I know. Her family gave her an ultimatum: leave the group or get out of their house. Kate remembers one day she woke up to find that her sister had run away from home. Concluding her story, Kate explains that part of the reason why she became a reporter was that she could have the power to.
The classic Anglesey, kids.
Yeah.
You gotta solve a mystery, so I'll become a reporter. See,
or she would have the power to inform people of such organizations.
Aww.
After hearing this heartbreaking story, Peter shows Kate the only clue, the business card given to him by the realtor. Seeing the business card, Kate shouts for Lilith's favorite, Ben Urich, to come to her office.
Urich! You know, you're such a decent dude in Spider-Man, but on Daredevil, he's just a douchebag.
She hands Ben the business card, telling him that she suspects that the real estate agency is a front for the Students of Love to earn money from the sale.
Multi-level marketing, also a part of cults sometimes. I love this issue. You guys think we were joking, like it's funny, haha, but no, they did a little research.
It's both. Peter David. He's no dumbass.
Nice. The drop that keeps on giving.
I need that. I need to go back and get that job to earn money from the sale of property owned by their converts. Ben has heard of this cult before, but tells her that their location is a carefully guarded secret for fear members will be deprogrammed.
No such thing, but okay.
As Ben heads out to investigate the organization, Peter thanks Kate for her concern. Kate brushes this off as just another story to publish in the paper. But as soon as Peter's gone, Kate picks up the phone to make a missing person report to the police. Meanwhile, Flash Thompson has been following the recruiter for the Students of Love. He tails the cultist to a rundown building in a bad part of town. Oh boy. Flash thinks this is all a breeze until he gets inside and the front door slams shut behind him. He's then surrounded by the members of the cult who threaten Thompson with a knife. Flash refuses to go down without a fight, but tries to flee up to the roof of the building. Unfortunately, Flash gets to the roof access. The door is locked. As the cultists close in for the kill, Spider-Man suddenly leaps down from the skylight. Spider-Man disarms the man with the knife and snapping it in his bare hands. Flash then punches his attacker out.
Now, this is a great team up.
Oh, yeah. However, the other cult members also pull out knives and charge at the pair. Spider-Man easily bowls them over, but decides to let them leave when they flee. Flash is furious when his hero lets the cultists go like that.
He's got a temper. He needs to work on it.
I know. The wall crawler explains that it wouldn't help them find Betty, but assures Flash that he will be able to follow after the recruiter thanks to a secretly planted spider tracer.
Duh. Come on, he had a plan, Flash. Don't doubt your hero like that.
I wouldn't want to think neither.
Duh. Well, you know, he was a football player. Concussions, honey.
Following the man.
Also, probably why he's so dang aggressive, to be honest.
Yeah, really. Sexual frustration, concussions. Following the man, Spider-Man witnesses him hop into a van and drive off. The cultists think they managed to give Spider-Man the slip as they pass into the Holland Tunnel, unaware that the masked hero has hitched a ride on.
Do the drop, Philip. No, you're not just gonna giggle.
Oh, okay. Which one? We have so many.
Pull yourself up and slip into it.
Now you can see how narcissistic I am.
What?
So now you guys can see how narcissistic I am. I mouth my own drops when he does it.
Come on. Reference one of my classic comments.
Classic Lilith.
Oh, what a waste of butter.
We'll get there. Definitely one of those moments in one of these issues. We'll get there.
And good job, kids. I have not seen any Flash Thompson articles so far on CBR.
Nobody tell Brian.
He's busy. We set him off on a goose chase with Nightfall. He's busy.
That's right. Spider-Man, leaps up. Think they manage. They give him the slip as they pass into the Holland Tunnel, unaware that the masked hero is hitched a ride on the roof of the van. The van drives deep into, of course, New Jersey, that hive of scum and villainy. Pulling into a gated property. Once inside, Spider-Man leaps up into a nearby tree so he can spy on the organization. Spider-Man eventually gets to the mansion where he sees members of the Students of Love toiling away.
It's Charles Xavier. Calm down, guys.
I know. Toiling away on the gardens on the front lawn. Among the followers, the wall crawler identifies Betty. That evening, Spider-Man sneaks into the mansion through one of the windows, walking through the sleeping area. The wall crawler finds Betty sleeping peacefully. Spider-Man wakes Betty up and tries to convince her to leave with him, but she screams, raising the alarm.
A spider!
Suddenly, a number of cult members come bursting into the room, armed with weapons. All right, that's issue 1. So what did you think, Lilith?
No, I think this is a very interesting take, and I also think it was like kind of came out of that whole satanic panic and supposed rise of cults and things like that. So I thought it was really cool that he kind of like took those. I can see all the inspirations, and that he actually probably did do a little research, or I hope he doesn't have anybody in his family that was like that joined a cult and they lost him to the cult life.
I hope so.
But I think that it's an interesting topic, and he uses very interesting characters to get this story out, I guess.
Hail Satan.
And yeah, I mean, it makes sense with Betty. I mean, she's not,
she's very vulnerable, and she's been through a lot.
Oh yeah, the signs have been there for years. Come on, Betty, let's get out of here. But yeah, like you said, I like how Peter David does his research and always the classic.
If we ever have him back, remind me to ask him about these issues.
Sorry, dumbass.
Yes, I need my own dumbass drop for sure.
We need you're all dumbass. You're listening to those dumbasses on the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Because we love self-deprecating humor here in Capes.
That's right.
We can laugh at ourselves.
Mm-hmm. And of course,
we're crying because we're nerds. Nerd. Moving right along the second issue of this saga.
Yes, and remember the classic art by Alex Saviuk, or as Ray says, Saviuk.
Because he's a fancy man.
That's right. Holds that pinky up when he drinks his tea. All right.
Wine.
That's true. Oh, the child is crying again. Just kidding, Ray. Just kidding, Ray. We love you. We love you. Thank you for the feedback.
What the F?
All right. Web of Spider-Man.
We use my what the F now.
What?
We use my what the F now in this house. Because I have one. You should go over to Ray's Patreon.
Oh, yeah, Ray. I might need that. I need that drop, Ray. All right. Web of Spider-Man 41, August 1988. That old-time religion.
Yeah,
all right.
Another classic is a cult scamming people.
Oh, boy.
Don't at me.
Okay, if you thought this plot wasn't crazy enough, here we go. At the Bedford Towers condo owned by Mary Jane and her husband Peter Parker, Mary Jane returns home with an old friend, Lorraine Mandel, a fellow model. As Lorraine takes off her coat, Mary Jane quickly takes it from her to hang it up so that her friend doesn't see Peter's Spider-Man costumes. She just thinks you're kinky.
Who do you bring home? Like, come on, your husband's a superhero. What are you doing here?
She'll just think you guys are kinky. When Lorraine asks where Peter is, Mary Jane quips that he must be hanging out somewhere.
Get it? She's been hanging around Flash too long.
At that moment, though, Spider-Man is at the New Jersey compound of the Students of Love, a cult that recently recruited Betty Brant as one of their members. Fearing that she has been brainwashed, Spider-Man had come to rescue her, only for Betty to raise the alarm. The wall crawler soon as a mob of cult followers charging into the room armed with baseball bats. The web slinger tries to get away, but he is swarmed by the sheer numbers. Forced to use violence, Spider-Man fights off his attackers. Seeing Betty run out of the room.
Flip him up, son!
Flip the whip. Seeing Betty run out of the room, Spider-Man follows after her. He tries to talk sense into Betty, but she refuses to go with him. Saying that this is the best thing that has ever happened to her. Seeing as how brainwashed she is, Spider-Man tries to carry her out, but she fights back. Something that catches the hero off guard because Betty doesn't set off his spider sense, which she should. As the other cultists come after them, Spider-Man webs up her arms and legs and runs for it. Around the corner, Spider-Man is confronted by one of the cultists armed with a flamethrower. How Lilith cleans the snow off her driveway. If she had snow.
Yeah, I was going to say, if I had snow. That's the whole reason why you live in Florida, so you don't have to deal with that.
There was a video, again, this year of some idiot cleaning his driveway off with the flamethrower.
Texas
I forget where it might have been.
or Alaska, one of the peninsula states. I guarantee you.
What do you say about Alaska?
Oh, exactly. Alaska's a peninsula state.
I know. While dodging the flames, Spider-Man is distracted enough to allow Betty to rip off his mask.
Now you gotta get Osborne. You're gonna get some amnesia. You're gonna go to Switzerland.
I thought you were gonna say she's gonna take a glider to the chest. Okay.
Well, she's
You're
taking
still-
enough to the chest and face, but you ain't heard that from me.
Oh, or I was gonna say she's going off that bridge.
Not in the face.
Fearing Betty could recognize him and tell the cultists about his true identity, Spider-Man flees, fearing that the cult might go after Mary Jane if they discover who he is. Running down a hallway, Spider-Man manages to escape through an air vent and evade capture. It's fiction, so of course that air vent's big enough.
You know, classic 80s shenanigans, man.
I know.
Big enough for 2 kids, 2 teenage boys. That's how big they are.
Just like every elevator has a door at the top of it. I know. Meanwhile, Ben Urich pays a visit to Liebman Realty to inquire about Betty's apartment that has gone up for sale. When he mentions the Students of Love, the realtor suddenly changes her tone and invites him to leave. As she hops into a cab, making Urich even more suspicious than before. Back at the cult's compound, Peter slips through the vents to try to find out what's going on. In one of the rooms, he spots the man who recruited Betty into the cult talking to their leader, a man known only as the Teacher, as well as his concerns about Brother Bruce's preoccupation with fire.
Bruce?
I was going to go more with fire. Which the episodes are on CBS All Access, kids, but so.
Odd choice for CBS, but they do own Viacom, which owns MTV and all those subsidiaries.
Aren't they doing a remake of that? So of course, you know,
Another one, yeah.
I think so. Yeah. So the Teacher.
I just wanted classic Daria back. No offense, not a Jodie show.
Well, maybe if Beavis and Butthead proves popular again, maybe they'll get Daria back.
We need Daria in 2021. That's all I'm saying. One of my absolute icons. I'm just saying, as a 90s kid.
You just need to become Daria. Get yourself some glasses and
I actually have a cosplay for this year for Daria. So
you could roll your eyes every episode. Come on, Lo.
I just need my Jane. That's it.
Paging Marnell.
Exactly.
The Teacher assures him that they have nothing to worry about as Spider-Man was a trespasser and they are law-abiding citizens. Burn.
Burn.
So's another organization that's headquartered in Clearwater, Florida, but you know.
Oh.
If you know, you know.
That's when he gets a call from Sister Jane, who tells the Teacher about the visit she got from Ben Urich. Brother Guy offers to get some of the other followers to scare off the press, but Teacher declines this as well. Hearing all of this, Peter realizes how deep in it he is. Going further down the vents, he comes across something that can buy him more time. However, he worries that Mary Jane may be worried and sick about him. However, this is far from the truth, as his wife has been up.
You need cell phones, 2-way pagers, something.
His wife has been up all night with her friend Lorraine and having a great time of it. Oh my!
My girl likes to party all the time. Party all the time.
All that sugar on the table.
It was the 80s.
And they were up all night, it says. Oh jeez, Chad, they're blue blockers. The screens were giving me a headache, Chad. What year is it?
Yeah. I saw you. I saw you on Super Connectivity last night. I was like, oh, Tyler influenced our boy.
It's the year 3007 to die, Chad.
No, it's 2099. Get it right, damn it.
Oh, sorry. Brandy. But yeah, so they've been up all night and having a great time of it. As it is getting late, Lorraine thinks that she should head home to get some sleep. Mary Jane refuses to let her go without meeting her husband Peter, inviting her to sleep in the bed while Mary Jane sleeps on the. I know, man. Speaking of your cults, man, she won't let her leave. Like, you have to meet my husband.
He's flipping great.
Flipping. I believe the term is menage a trois. By this time, Peter's
The
entered.
little twist is implied, Philip, at this point.
And Chad says, likely. I love Lilith Hellfires on camera for the first time in like 5 years, and Chad's like, "Oh, Phil's wearing glasses."
See, only you make a big deal about it. They know. I'll shut this down.
I do not want. Wearing a South Park style beanie. I do not want. Whatever.
Exactly.
All right. By this time, Peter has entered a supply room where he puts on one of the outfits that the cult members wear, putting a baseball cap on his head in an attempt to disguise himself.
The baseball cap! The worst disguise next to glasses.
And continues to search around. While back at home, Mary Jane is woken up by Lorraine tiptoeing through the condo. When Mary Jane asks her what she is doing, Lorraine says she was going to the bathroom and rushes back to the bedroom. She's like a punk.
Yes, you can't leave random guests in your bedroom. Like, you get the couch. I'm sorry, homie.
She's trying to
have a second bedroom.
She's trying to escape.
She left a 20 on the dresser. Mary Jane didn't take a hint.
Oh. The following morning, Flash Thompson is at the Daily Bugle demanding to be let in to see Kate Cushing. The guard at the front desk is giving him a hard time when Kate is walking by. Flash explains that he has come to follow up on the search for Betty Brant. Kate takes Flash upstairs and leaves him with Ben Urich, who is still investigating the situation. Urich tells Flash that he was just on his way out to meet with someone who can give them a lead on the case. Needing help, Ben hands Flash a camera, oh Lord, and tells him he just volunteered as a photographer.
Because, Peter's missing conveniently.
If Parker can do it, anyone can do it. Wow,
Yeah, he takes not good. We all know he doesn't take good photos, so
Parker stuff looks like the camera's just hanging on the wall. You can do it, kid.
no dynamics to it at all.
Barely in focus. While back at the Parker home, Mary Jane is going over Lorraine's modeling photos. Oh, telling her Peter came home late in the night and left early in the morning. Yeah, we were both on the couch. When she remarks on the more revealing photos, Lorraine suggests Mary Jane take some intimate photos as well, telling her there is substantial money in it. Have you heard of OnlyFans?
Back in the day, it was a lot of models' goals to get into Playboy. And, if you were that sort, Hustler. So, Hustler's the superior magazine. You don't need to read Hustler for the articles.
You see it all.
Larry is a hero whether you like it or not. That's all that I can say. He stood up for free speech.
Nice. Mary Jane is even more interested. She should talk to Peter first before taking the gig. Later that morning, Peter's pulling in the garden. Members that no one's finding Betty again, he can't help but remark that she's at peace living here. Suddenly, one of the cult members announces that the teacher is going to perform a miracle. At that moment, Ben and Flash arrive at the home of Reverend Tolliver.
Tolliver, that's never a good last name.
Wait, what's Chad say? Chuck.
Yep. The guy who
Mr.
wrote that club for the uninitiated.
Oh, okay. Used to write for Playboy. So, see, someone likes the articles. Chad.
That's the only thing to read it to get Playboy for. That's my point. Is the articles. That's sanitized. Get out of here.
That's right. You only see the
Hugh Hefner took down Bill Cosby, so I fell away. Hollywood conspiracies over on our Patreon.
Oh, nice. So yeah, Ben and Flash go to see Reverend Tolliver. Inviting them in, Tolliver explains that he often deprograms members of religious cults and says that the teacher of the Students of Love is a con artist who uses trickery to convince his followers that he can perform miracles. Where have we seen that?
Never thunk it.
Where have we seen that lately? He explains that one of the teacher's tricks is to call together his gatherers to observe him remove a cancerous mass from a person's body. Using an obese person and a water balloon filled with fake blood, the teacher then makes it look like he is plunging his hands into the person's flesh and remove the cancer. In reality, his hands are hidden in the folds of excess flesh and burst the balloon.
Whoa. This is a little too graphic for a Spider-Man comic. I'm just saying.
Making for a graphic display. The idea of this feat of magic is that his followers are so enthralled that they take what they see as a miracle. Those who fall for this con often become even more devoted to the cult as a result. As Reverend Tolliver is explaining this, Peter Parker is seeing this con firsthand, confident that if this is a con, he will see through it. However, as he is witnessing this seeming miracle, Peter is completely taken by the spectacle.
Ruh-roh.
I mean, again, this is in the Marvel universe. So, this is a universe with people with superpowers and,
It's just
aliens.
like, okay, if you can heal cancer, you're a mutant. Okay, good for you.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's I could see people having healing abilities in this universe, but yeah, it's like, yeah, probably 20 other people do too, probably.
They got some snake oil, you see.
What, teacher? Wouldn't you be like, where'd you get your powers? Are you a mutant? Oh, no.
I'm an inhuman.
What?
I'm an inhuman. I'm an eternal.
Those are popular these days. I thought it was gonna be some kind of
anyway.
thought it was gonna be some kind of accident, some industrial accident.
Were there turtles involved?
A young man pushed me out of the way, but accidentally pushed me right back in the nuclear waste. But what did you think of this issue? I think they might even call it out, like maybe next issue or something. But it's like, doesn't teacher look like Mr. Miyagi a little bit?
A little racist. Maybe that's the intent, old ancient Asian secrets. And, plus back in the 80s, a lot of those, like, get-rich guys were Asian, the classic guy on the yacht with the beautiful women, that guy.
Yeah.
So I think that was probably a little bit of inspiration, but still at the same time. But you can get offended by anything, especially if it was written in the 80s, so.
True.
I like this issue, too. This is a very solid arc, actually.
Oh, yeah. This is the most closest we get to a supervillain. But yeah, it's still very interesting.
It's very grounded and realistic. And something, that even Spider-Man can get pulled into a cult, Because
Exactly.
Peter's not that bright sometimes. Let's just be honest.
Okay, is this about teacher, Chad? What a twisted web he weaves.
Pun of the day?
Maybe. Hey, Chad, can you type suck it, Kona?
Poor Kona.
Suck it, Kona.
Good. Betty unmasking him. I love he just like drops Bet. She unmasks him. He just like drops her ass on the floor. It's just like,
all right, that's my one Achilles heel. Gotta go.
You're out. Gotta think about the redhead. You're out. Oh, thank you, Chad. Look at that Kona.
That's what he wants to wake up to.
I know.
Add it on the web of Spider-Man.
He's gonna wake up this morning next to his pregnant wife. He's gonna be like, "What? I didn't do anything."
Perfect.
Oh, see, he's fancy on like you, Lil. He even throws in the last name. So there's no
mistaking.
All right, so should we get to the next one?
Let's do it.
Web 42. Oh, do you see that cover? I think someone decided to take those pictures. All right, so Web 42 from September 1988. Pressure.
Under pressure.
Having infiltrated the Students of Love in order to rescue Betty Brant, Peter Parker has witnessed the teacher apparently removing a cancerous mass from a cult member with his bare hands, unaware that this is actually a con job to convince his faithful that he has supernatural powers. In New York City, Reverend Tolliver has just finished explaining to Ben Urich and Flash Thompson how the con works, and how the untrained eye can be tricked into believing this act to be true. The Reverend explains that the reason why these cults get away with brainwashing people is that they recruit people of at least the age of majority. And as long as their followers appear to be acting of their own free will, there's nothing the authorities can do. Back at the cult compound, Peter Parker...
That's why you get them with the taxes, see?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Why do you think priests can't marry, man? The church gets everything. Untrue?
It's kind of like being a nun. It's like, okay, if you stop being a nun, you're divorcing God. Like, who's going to live up to that?
He was so distant with me. Peter Parker slips away, certain that the teacher seemed to be staring at him the whole time. As he goes back outside to the garden, Peter's nearly convinced what he saw was real and wonders if he has a right to take Benny away from this, if she is happy and at peace being here. Still, he is unnerved by the fact that everyone acts like zombies around the compound.
Kids are happy eating lead-based paint chips. So, sometimes you got to save people from themselves.
Exactly. Finding Betty again, Peter hears her talking to a woman named Tracy and wonders if this is the sister of Kate Cushing. Peter is then confronted by the teacher who asked to speak with him. To convince Parker to comply, he pulls out Spider-Man's mask and says it belongs to him.
So this guy's getting a glider in the chest.
Ah! Back in Manhattan, Mary Jane is at a lingerie photo shoot with her friend Lorraine.
Talk about your wild girls' night out and girls' night in. Hey-o.
We spent a couple hours together. Here's my naked body.
Well, she is a model, so they're kind of like that. So
they stayed up all night doing coke, and now they're at a photo shoot. It's the 80s.
Exactly, the era of the supermodel. If you know, you know.
She is uncomfortable with the idea still, but Lorraine assures Mary Jane this will open up new avenues in her career. This is one of Lilith's movies. After meeting the photographer, Mary Jane gets cold feet, deciding against taking the photos until she has had a chance to talk with her husband. By this time, Ben and Flash have finished their meeting with Reverend Tolliver and are parting ways. Ben assures Thompson that they'll find Betty, but Flash can't help but think they could be doing more. While in that hive of scum and villainy, New Jersey, the teacher explains to Peter that the students of love just want to exist in peace and has no desire to attack him further. Feeling that Peter is not ready for their teachings, the teacher gives him bus fare in his Spider-Man mask and sends him on his way. We don't even want you, kid. Peter complies, and on the bus ride home, thinks about how weird the whole situation is. Back in New York, Peter changes into Spider-Man and heads to the Daily Bugle building. On the way, he is still trying to wrap his head around the students of love, who are so unlike other cults he has faced in the past. On the roof, Peter's annoyed to see that birds have made a nest out of the street clothing he stashed up there.
What happens? Better be lucky it wasn't rats. It is New York after all.
As soon as he is changed, Peter goes down to see Kate Cushing, who's in a meeting with Ben Urich. The pair exchange notes on everything they have learned. However, Peter tells them that he got this information secondhand from Spider-Man. When he mentions the possibility that Kate's sister Tracy is there as well, Kate demands to know where their compound is. Peter, still unsure if he should interfere any further, says he doesn't know where their compound is. Kate is furious and orders him to tell Spider-Man to give up that information. However, Ben points out that Peter can't force Spider-Man to do anything he doesn't want to, and Kate angrily tells Parker to get out of her office. Get out!
Useless. Away from me.
That's what the call at the Bugle. No one wants Peter. Trying to figure out what to do, Peter decides to pay a visit to Flash Thompson while also checking in with Mary Jane, who he figures must be worried sick about him.
No, au contraire, mon frere.
He quickly calls
having the thwipping time of her life.
I know. He quickly calls home and tells Mary Jane that he's involved in a story. MJ tells him that she was offered a job opportunity and isn't certain if she should take it. Before Mary Jane can tell him all the details, Peter is told by one of the Bugle employees to get off her phone as she is waiting for a call back from a lead before her deadline. To quickly end the call, Peter tells Mary Jane to go through with whatever she chooses she feels comfortable with and lets her go.
Really? Because didn't we just do a story where he was being a total noob about a nude scene?
Oh, yeah, that comes later, but yeah.
Exactly. It's like,
well, maybe this was the straw that broke the camel's back. He's like, oh, maybe she can't make her own decisions. Annoyed that Peter brushed her off so easily, Mary Jane decides that she's going through with it and gets changed into the fancy lingerie to be photographed. You have your
Wait, somebody get John Byrne on the phone.
You have your costume, I have mine. Meanwhile, Spider-Man pays a visit to Flash Thompson, who is spending time playing basketball with underprivileged kids. He pulls Flash. He pulls Flash aside and tells him that he found Betty and tells him that she is happy where she is and that they don't have a right to interfere with that. This angers Flash, but Spider-Man says that it is Betty's right to live with the cult and swings off. Over here, doesn't he throw his ball at Spider-Man? It's not in the synopsis, people. It's important. He throws his ball at him, kids.
He hit him right in the face with that sack.
A little too so immature.
I know.
Overhearing the conversation about the Students of Love, Flash's co-worker, a sergeant from the NYPD. Oh, yes, Chad, agreed. Flash is a real hero. His time as a Thunderbolt is great.
See, we're going to have to do a follow-up.
Thank you for
Flash in January.
Yes. Thank you for your service, Flash. Sergeant Miller tells Flash how 3 years ago he had to arrest the parents of a child who joined the cult for trespassing. Thompson asks to know the address, assuring Miller that he won't do anything illegal with the information. Wink. At that moment, Betty Brant sits in the yard of the student's property. When she is approached by Brother Bruce, she tells him that he feels disillusioned, or she feels disillusioned. Bruce, an apparently reformed pyromaniac, tells her that
because he had that obsession with the fire earlier.
Fire. Tells her that he finds all the answers he is looking for in Flame. Okay, Firefly. Meanwhile, Flash Thompson meets with Reverend Tolliver with the location of the Students of Love. Tolliver tells Flash that he will arrange to get Betty out of there, but warns Flash that if he gets involved, there is no turning back. Wanting to free Betty more than anything, Thompson agrees. All right. Later that day, because Dr. Strange was busy, Dr. Druid has just finished a lecture about mysticism when he's approached by Spider-Man. The wall crawler explains that he tried to seek out the aid of Dr. Strange, but he was unavailable. Since Druid is the next big mystic in the city, he asks for his assistance. At that moment, Flash Thompson is among a group of men in a van that breaks into the Students of Love compound. There they ambush the followers and capture Betty. With Brant in the van, they leave as quickly as they arrived. Meanwhile, Spider-Man is sitting atop the World Trade Center.
Yeah.
He is feeling foolish after Dr. Druid explained how the teacher pulled off his seeming miracle. Spider-Man decides to pay the teacher a visit, but first needs to stop home and check in with Mary Jane. When he arrives home, Mary Jane isn't home, so he decides to sit down and wait for her. Suddenly, he gets a phone call from Flash Thompson, who tells Peter to get it to his place as quickly as possible. Since Flash is in hysterics, Peter agrees to come out. No sooner is he gone, Mary Jane returns home. Arriving at Flash Thompson's apartment, Peter's pulled in the apartment, where he is shocked to discover that he and Reverend Tolliver have Betty Brant tied to a chair. Betty tells Peter that she was kidnapped and begs him to help her. So, yes, Flash is a kidnapper.
Yeah.
That
That was a stark turn.
I love you, don't you see?
It's like, yeah, Flash. We know Flash isn't the brightest bulb in the box. We get it.
I wouldn't
want
to break
his
up.
evolution is really great, actually.
Oh, yeah.
The character in the Spider-Man universe, it's great.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't want to break up with me neither.
But I don't need a Flash miniseries. So, just that said, Marvel, calm down.
Oh please, you're not.
I can use a Disney Plus show though. Disney, hook me up.
I was gonna say you're not jonesing for 2022's 5-issue miniseries, The Return of Flash Thompson. You know, because he's dead.
Yeah. Nobody's ever truly dead, so you know.
I know.
Can I get a Disney Plus show? If Moon Knight gets one, everybody can get one.
You have to work it out with Sony, though.
Oh, true. I guess we'd have to get like a Ned.
Thank you, Chad. Betty tied to a chair with Flash and Peter. Oof.
They're
Hey.
having their own fun.
Hey, man. Peter David's giving you all variations of the threesome this arc, okay?
Nice.
This is one of Little's movies. Holy crap.
I told you that I didn't mind these issues. I was going to have fun with these issues. Now you know why.
Whoa.
It's all dawning on Philip way too late. Mary Jane doing a lingerie photo shoot. Threesome references abound.
It's ting ting tingling, ting ting tingling.
Murder, kidnapping.
I hold them in my hand.
Oh boy. Cults, threesomes, Mary Jane taking risque photos because she needs the money.
It's all here, man. It's all here.
We need the money. Gimme.
All right. So should we get to the last one?
Let's do it.
Oh, so you're familiar with these issues, eh, Chad? Or is she just going by the synopsis? All right.
If you can find them, you should get them. Great collection to your Spider-Man collection.
Like I said, they're not on Marvel Universe, but or Marvel Unlimited, but you could probably pick them up in a dollar bin or something. You know, if you don't live in Australia.
That's where I found them. Yeah.
If you don't live in Australia, you know, the dollar bin.
More like what is that? Like a loony, I guess. Is that like?
Oh,
no, that's Canada.
A loony?
That's Canada. I think that's $2. I forget. Canadian money is ridiculous. Almost as ridiculous as Australian money.
Stupid geeses and koalas. You need to see. Want to be the greatest country in the world? You got to have a picture of a bunch of dead white men on your money. Come on.
Don't forget Sacagawea on a $2 coin. Hashtag still bitter, I guess.
You get them right in the face with that sack.
Okay. Web of Spider-Man 43, October 1988. Oh boy, Kate Cushing with the line of the issue. It's something Lilith has said all the time. That's the problem with life. Not everyone gets happy endings. Get it?
Get it? Get it? Threesomes? Get it?
Hey, come on, Peter David. You're getting long titles here. Auto Dave or Nobody Expects the Spanish Inquisition.
It was an inside joke. We'll have to ask him.
I guess. Seriously? You didn't get it, dumbasses? All right.
No, we're dumbasses.
Exactly. Peter Parker has just arrived at Flash Thompson's apartment and discovers that Flash and Reverend Tolliver had kidnapped Betty Brand from the Students of Love in order to deprogram her. Oh, yes, Chad, you got the joke. Thank you. Wait. Happy endings.
Thank you, Chad. Exactly. My kind of guy.
Look at this. Happy endings. And then look, he knows us. He put happy endings. Then next he put, get it. And you can too. Will's favorite line. Seeing Peter, Betty pleads with him to let her go. This causes Peter to think back to how he got into this BDSM mess. To begin with, how Betty was recruited into the cult and his attempts to free her. Initially, the cult's leader, the enigmatic teacher, tricked Peter into thinking that he had healing powers. However, after consulting with Dr. Druid, even Dr. Druid knew this, Spider-Man learned that this so-called guru was nothing more than a fraud. Still, Peter is upset that they went to these lengths to free Betty. He points out to Flash that kidnapping is a federal offense. I can't believe a religious man like Reverend Tolliver would stoop so low as to be party to this as well. Tolliver explains that Betty has been brainwashed and can't think for herself, so they had to act drastically.
She's a silly woman, see?
Yeah, must be that time, say. He points out that they are trying to restore her free will and that sometimes you need to break the law for the greater good. This catches Peter in a moral dilemma. Betty,
you're a vigilante, homie. Like, come on.
Oh yeah, and Peter David has that in his writing all the time. I remember an issue of the Hulk where he's like, between anytime I have to choose between right and wrong, or even right and legal, I'll choose right every time.
Exactly.
Betty begs Peter to help her, and he tells Betty that he will be there and that everything is going to be okay. Meanwhile, at the Students of Love compound, Brother Guy informs Betty Brant that, or Brother Guy informs, I guess, teacher, but it's not here, that Betty Brant has been kidnapped off the compound. The teacher orders her to be recovered and returned and tells Guy to have the other followers look into her known associates. Brother Guy figures that she's at Flash
That's a
Thompson.
long list.
No, Flash Thompson's apartment. Because he was seen during the kidnapping. The teacher asked him to check in on Brother Bruce before leaving. At that moment, Brother Bruce is down in the basement of the mansion working with a gas cylinder in the hopes of starting a fire.
He did start the fire.
It was always burning, teacher. Back in New York City, the deprogramming of Betty Brant has begun. Reverend Tolliver has pointed a bright light in Betty's face, and they begin questioning her about her treatment by the cult. Betty insists on being let go, but eventually admits to them that she was initially locked in a room and had food withheld from her withheld from her because she was a bad student.
Yep.
When they ask,
classic cult tactics.
Yep.
If they control your food,
sleep,
make you weak, give you that Pavlov's dog reaction.
Yep. When they ask her about her finances, Betty replies by telling them she gave it all to the teacher, who told her that money and property were corrupt.
Ooh, oof.
Yeah.
Oof. This is just starting to sound a little too familiar.
Reverend Tolliver points out that if he has possession of everything, that makes him corrupt. Then they begin asking her personal questions, but she resists them because of what the teacher had told her until she finally cracks. Oh, thank you, Chad. Manson family.
Exactly.
Wow, at the condo shared by Peter and Mary Jane. Oh boy, here we go. Aunt May comes by for a visit.
They're going to give that old lady a heart attack, aren't they?
Mary Jane is in the shower. And she tells May to make herself comfortable, thinking how lucky her nephew is having a wife like Mary Jane, when she happens upon an envelope on the table. Opening the envelope, May is...
What a nosy old bat!
I know! How funny would it have been if it had been papers like saying, oh, they're putting her in a home or something?
Oh, I know! You're going to Shady Acres!
No, not Mysterio again! May is shocked to see these are racy photos and faints.
Told you.
Meanwhile, the programming of Betty continues, and after a barrage of questions, she yells at them to shut up so she can think.
I can relate. Shut up so I can think.
What? Internet Explorer, shut up!
Exactly. You're lucky I can't fire you.
Flash stops the interrogation, but oh Lord, wait a minute. Oh, MCU joke. Hold on. Shady Acres. She may well hook up with Odin.
You could be so lucky.
Her new boo is Odin. Her first husband's Mephisto. Oh boy.
I'm telling you, we need an Aunt May book. That's the one that I want. Sorry, Flash. I want an Aunt May Disney Plus story.
Oh, if it's MC
Marissa Tomei.
Marissa Tomei, yes. All right, so Flash stops the interrogation, but Reverend Tolliver insists that they need to continue as it will take weeks to fully deprogram her. Suddenly, Peter's spider sense begins to tingle.
Uh-oh.
It's ting ting tingle-lid, ting ting tingle-lid.
I want to ask a doctor about that, but
and he tries to leave, but Flash calls him a coward. What? No milksop? Suddenly, members of the cult come crashing in through the front door nearby window in an effort to recover Betty. Flash and Peter try to fight off the cultists, led by Brother Guy, but Peter has to hold back, otherwise he will expose his double identity. Peter then ushers Reverend Tolliver out of the room and tells him to get help. Peter is forced to stand down when Brother Guy subdues Flash and threatens to cut his throat. The old
Cut me, bro.
Meanwhile, Reverend Tolliver finally finds a payphone that works. Unsure if he should call the police, he calls for Ben Urich instead, only to learn that he just left for home. Back at the Students of Love compound, Brother Bruce is working away at making another flamethrower when one of the other followers tells him to come upstairs as they are bringing in Flash Thompson and Betty Brandt and are having a meeting. Hiding his gear, Brother Bruce runs upstairs to be part of the meeting. As he leaves, the blanket where he hid his gear begins to smolder and catch fire. Fire! Back in New York City, Mary Jane is out of the shower and Aunt May apologizes for fainting, but she was caught off guard by the modeling photos. When May asks what Peter thinks of them, Mary Jane says that he doesn't know about them yet, but he trusts her to make the decisions with regarding
now.
Why is there a huge bruise on my aunt's head? Okay. Aunt May is certain the couple will do the right thing, but warns Mary Jane that if she does anything to hurt or embarrass Peter, she will dock her. Realizing that Aunt May meant to say the word deck her, the pair begin to laugh, realizing that she doesn't want to take photos like this, and she burns the photos and the negatives. Just gonna give her that dock punch. In New Jersey, that hive of scum and villainy, Peter and Flash have been tied up and are brought before members of the Students of Love. The teacher asks his followers what they should do with the two men who have interfered with their organization.
Have we tried killing them yet?
Yeah, it's not 70s Marvel. Brother Bruce suggests that they should be put to death, but Betty pleads for Peter and Flash to be spared, saying that they are her friends. The teacher believes that Betty has been damaged, but is certain they can fix the problem.
Well, he's drained her for all her money, so really she's worthless, but okay.
Cannon fodder.
True, touche.
Betty tells him to keep away and smacks the teacher across the face and then collapses to the floor. And begins sobbing. Brother Guy points out that Reverend Tolliver got away and he will likely call the police. The teacher is unconcerned, as it was Flash and his friends who committed a crime. Brother Bruce insists that they kill them, but the teacher tells Bruce to curb his bloodlust and tells him to meditate on the issue. Meanwhile, the fire in the basement continues to grow unchecked. At that moment, Ben Urich calls Kate Cushing to tell her what he has learned from Reverend Tolliver. Kate tells Ben to pick her up so they can be at the compound as the police arrive. In New Jersey, Brother Bruce in New Jersey. Okay. Mm-hmm. Was he born in the USA? Brother Bruce goes to see teacher in his office, but the cult...
Get Jesse on the line.
I know, man. Just smack me around. But the cult leader's not there. Still wanting to kill their prisoners, Bruce finds a gun in the teacher's desk drawer and moves forward with his plans. Should have a lock on it. It's at this point that the other cult followers notice the fire growing in the basement. Hearing the panic and smelling the smoke, Peter decides that he has to risk his double identity to save himself, Flash, and Betty, and breaks free of his ropes. As Ben and Kate rush to the scene, Cushing calls the police to tip them off on what's going on at the compound. By this time, the fire at the compound is raging out of control. As the other cult members flee, the teacher tells Brother Guy to get the others out while he goes back to free the prisoners. At that moment, Peter is still struggling to untie Flash and Betty when Brother Bruce comes bursting in and begins opening fire. Under the smoke, Peter leaps at Brother Bruce and disarms him, telling the maniac to run. Quickly changing into Spider-Man, Peter frees Betty and Flash, who have passed out from smoke inhalation. As Spider-Man runs for the exit carrying his two friends, he is confronted by the teacher, armed with a gun of his own. The teacher accuses Spider-Man.
He's got a gun.
Teacher's got a gun. Teacher accuses Spider-Man of turning his dreams into ashes. When he fires, Spider-Man dodges the bullet. Since Brother Bruce was trying to sneak up on the wall crawler, he is struck by the bullet instead.
Oh, imagine being cannon fodder.
When Spider-Man offers to help get them out of the inferno, teacher tells him that he will tend to his own. With no time to argue, Spider-Man leaves with Betty and Flash. Instead of helping Brother Bruce, the teacher decides to leave without him, telling the deranged man that that it is every man for himself. Bruce grabs the teacher's leg and begs him for help. When suddenly the blazing roof, here comes your glider, Lilith, the blazing roof of the house collapses on them. Seeing the collapse, Spider-Man tries to go back in to save the teacher and Bruce, but the flames are too strong for him to get close. That's when the authorities arrive on the scene. In all the confusion, Spider-Man slips away so he can change back into Peter Parker. He rejoins Flash, who is comforting Betty, telling her that things are going to be all right.
Every little thing.
When Ben Urich and Kate Cushing arrive on the scene, Kate asks Betty if she has seen her sister, Tracy. Betty points her out, and Kate goes to her sister in the hopes of a heartfelt reunion. However, wait a sec. This says Tracy's been brainwashed, so she doesn't even remember who her sister is. I took it as it was just a Tracy and it wasn't her sister.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. But that's well, also not everybody gets a happy ending, so maybe it's ambiguous for other people. Maybe it's a choose your own adventure style.
I took it as more realistic, as it's like, okay, it's a cult member named Tracy. Why would it coincidentally just be her sister?
Because it's comic books.
Yeah.
But that's not how Peter David works though either. So
I know there's different writers, but you would think if that was her sister, wouldn't she show up again? This woman never shows up again.
In a classic, and we never saw her again, of course.
I know, Chad, disappointing. No happy ending. Well, I mean, I guess for Peter, his friend's out of the cult, and another death to cover.
Nobody cares about Kate. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and another death for Peter to cover his identity.
Exactly. Racking those bodies up. Mephisto's got to be his uncle. That's all I'm saying. He's got to be related.
Employee of the month.
That karmic debt, he's got a lot of it.
Mephisto's realm. There's a picture on the wall, employee of the month, and it's Spider-Man's picture. So you keep sending
unknowing employee of the month.
So thank you for sending me all these souls, especially like that blonde. Peter
underrated Jim for sure.
Putting on a brave face, Kate tells Urich and Peter to cover the story. When Peter asks if the woman was her sister, Kate tells him that she wasn't. She then turns and walks away so she can hide the fact that she is in tears.
Aww. I don't know you, lady.
All right, Lilith, what did you think of the final part?
A little sadder than expected, for sure.
Oh yeah,
but it's real, It's more realistic and grounded of how things would really work out. So
cults destroyed.
But of course, you saw the glider coming a million miles away as soon as you realized he knew who he was. So
I know,
was waiting for it the whole issue. Like, come on.
I know, but it's like he didn't even know his name. He just knew a face, and he still got that death.
You can put two and two together in the Marvel Universe real quick. Unlike in DC, where people may or may not be going along with Bruce.
Thank you, Chad. No,
that's a quote.
No one kills innocents quite like heroes.
We need that on our mug now. We need that on a mug.
T-shirt. Just have like Spider-Man, Batman, a bunch of people on a shirt. Because
good choice, Phil. Good choice.
Thank you. Because yes, remember, even Batman has bodies on his tab.
Batman.
So many, actually.
But yeah, I thought this was an interesting story for Flash in the January. We get a bunch of Flash. It's not like a classic supervillain. It was just
it was just a really nice package.
It was indeed.
All right, so should we hear from Ray? Because we do have Ray.
Let's see what our triplet had to say.
Like I said, we're back with the new year. Ray's back. All right, everyone. So, for those of you who may
give me those nostrils.
I was going to say, for those of you just joining us in 2021, yes, our friend Ray, a podcaster in his own right, who knows all about comics because he hosts shows Last Sons of Krypton, a Superman podcast. To know her is to fear her.
The
Spider-Woman podcast.
We're just gonna go ahead and give them that one too.
There you go, kid. We'll give you that one. But of course, the big one, of course, has to be Into the Night. The
Moon Knight podcast.
That's right. So hey, Moon Knight was coming eventually.
He also moonlights over on the Scarlet Spider Sausage Fest.
Oh yes, you can hear him right here the last Tuesday of every month talking all things Scarlet Spider with me and the aforementioned Matt Kona. You know, the suck at Matt Kona, that guy. Yeah,
it's all connected. Super connected. Wait a minute.
Too many plugs.
We're doing me now.
No. Anyway, all right. So yes, Ray. What did Ray have to say about this? Ooh, 651, Lilith.
A nice, admirable way to start off the new year. But I always require more.
Whoa, and he sent feedback for the other show we're recording today. So I mean, he gave you way more than he gave Kono this week.
Oh, he went around. He gave me 2 rounds. Good job.
Hell. Yes, Chad, you don't get that by now. Such a sausage. Chad, I learned to plug from the best. That one. Wait, that one.
I've created a monster. It's fine.
I created a monster. No one wants Phil no more. All right. Sorry, Ray. Stepped on your stuff here. All right. What did Ray have to think? Here we go.
Hello, Phil and Lilith.
Hello,
this
Ray.
is Ray. I'm going to drop in some thoughts for Web of Spider-Man 40 to 43. All to do with the, School of Love? Students of Love? Something like that. A cult which Betty, unfortunately, had been put under the spell with. It was a bit of I found it kind of smart writing, actually. And again, of course, this is a dream team for me, Peter David and Alex Saviuk. Great art, as usual. And I think I've mentioned before, it is the seminal Peter Parker that I kind of associate. Just the way that Saviuk depicts Peter Parker and Spider-Man, it's just really, really nice to look at. And Peter David's story is always very easy to read. Interesting, for the most part, interesting stories. This one was, I think sometimes Peter David can be quite topical. And for me, I'm not sure, I've got no grounds to base this on, but I do remember when I was younger as well, there was a little bit of a fad with faith healing. It was actually very popular in the Philippines as well. So I'm wondering if Teacher, the character, was Filipino, but it was very popular back in the day of this hoax of removing cancers and tumors with no medical equipment and stuff. So I'm assuming Peter David's latched onto this kind of topical fad, and he's built a story around it. And for the most part, it was quite enjoyable, I think. I think there was a nice balance between the characters. I know this is the Flash in the Penuary, but it wasn't too Flash-centric, although he was one to look for Betty. But we had some really interesting, I guess, subplots. Of course, there was Mary Jane in her decision to do a lingerie shoot with her friend. I thought that was quite cool, actually. And in the end, though, I guess Aunt May kind of stumbling onto them, and then MJ kind of burning it was a nice little rounding off of that little story plot. Also, as well, Kate Cushing, the editor for the Daily Bugle, she had her own little thing there with her sister being part of the cult, and it was a little sad there at the end with her not finding her sister. She thinks it is, turns around, but it's clear. Well, apparently, clearly not her sister. So those threads going through, plus Flash looking for Betty, but also Spider-Man doing the same, and then this thing with Ben Urich following it up with the real estate agent and Tolliver, the priest. So a nice mix of characters. But I've really enjoyed it. There were some really brilliant, I thought, layout choices here by Savuik. I'm not sure whether it's him or Peter David. I think it is the beginning of issue 43, the final part. There's this beautiful kind of full page of, I think there are about 9 panels, but it's bookmarked or bookended by profiles of Peter Parker and Spider-Man. Really nice to look at. Also, as well, I found I guess you call it the de-brainwashing, deprogramming of Betty by Peter and Flash and Tolliver was brilliantly drawn as well. Really cool. You really get a sense of this chaos within Betty's mind. So there was some really good art choices here, and I really enjoyed that aspect too. The ending was a little, I guess, kind of a bit of run of the mill. It's always a little strange when Spider-Man goes up against, I guess, a non-super villain. This is a cult. The closest we got was Brother Bruce, who was a bit of an arsonist, but he met a grisly end with the teacher. But this whole thing, I guess, what I wanted to mention was what with faith healing. What appears as a pretty obvious kind of hoax and a con, there seemed to be some essence of truth in the teacher's words with Peter. So there seemed to be perhaps an honesty to it that Peter falls under. I mean, he actually then questions or tries to implore to Flash that Betty should just stay where she's happy because she's happy there. I mean, so there's that kind of thing weighed against what these people are doing, which are pulling the wool over people's eyes and pretending that they're doing stuff. I mean, you go down the track of someone with a cancer and they claim to be healed and they're not, that's a bad thing. So I think it raises those sorts of issues. I'd give this a solid B. I really enjoyed the art, and no shame, I'm a big fan of Peter David. It's not one of his best, but it was still very enjoyable. It's one of his more enjoyable Web of Spider-Man stories. There was another one that he did, I think that you guys have covered already, with there's a team of, I don't know, mercenaries, and every year they do a contest to the death. I found that one a little bland, but this one was pretty good. So a good B for me. I'm wondering what you think. This will be interesting because I'm not sure of your take, I guess, post-hobby, how you find this. I guess with the cast of characters, it was enjoyable enough. I'm assuming that you would like it as well. So I'm assuming that you guys would give it around about a B as well. I could be totally wrong. Anyway, I shall wait to hear. And it's great to be back giving some feedback in 2021. Catch you later.
Catch you right back at you, buddy. Yeah, I agree with that B, but it's a solid B+ for me.
Ooh.
It's just it was the reason why it's a B+, I guess, is because it's kind of like off kilter. It was unexpected, and it still like kind of catches me off guard every time that I revisit the story, but in a good way. But it's just like we wasted a Web of Spider-Man story on a cult, and it had no consequence. Like if Betty was just lost to them, because honestly, what were we doing with Betty?
Yeah, well, I mean, you had to bring Betty back, so in early 90s, she could be the gun-toting.
I guess, but honestly, they didn't know that when they were writing the story. So
I know.
Kind of like it would have actually been made more sense if she'd been lost to the cult and then come back in that form, if you ask me. But yeah, that was just like kind of the only thing.
That's how you know Flash is going to be back, because it's like they really don't mess with those Stan and Steve Ditko characters.
Yeah.
At least permanently, they do. But yes, for those of you who listen to this on the podcast and don't watch the YouTube, Chad mentioned during the feedback, he sounds near panting, a hot under the collar down under.
It's summertime down there, so
He has no internet this weekend, Chad. He's going in the shakes. He can't record a podcast.
He's in detox mode.
I think he sent these from his phone. So yeah, he's jonesing, man. It's got the DT.
Sweet hit of that podcast life.
Got any more of that podcast recording?
But he hit the nail on the head though. So.
Yeah.
Our triplet noses, Philip.
That's right. Thank you, Ray. We always enjoy the feedback.
We do.
All right.
But you know what else I enjoy? Knowing what the hell we're talking about next week.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah, I'm bringing it up the schedule. Yes, but Ray, you said this one really wasn't Flash centric. Well, hold on to your hats next week. Spectacular Spider-Man 148. Very Flash centric. I mean, you don't get Spider-Man in it, so you want Flash centric. You got it. My popular
Flash works best as a tangential character, but this next one that we talk about is very interesting.
Oh yeah, right at the end of Inferno. So
yeah.
Flash Thompson, Betty Brant, and a bunch of demons. You know, because of course had to be Night of the Living Ned.
They saved the worst for last.
Oh, and
I kid.
And then, of course, we round out the month after that with Scarlet Spider, the Mark of Cain storyline.
Sausage Fest!
So I know Ray's going to be reading that one. And yes, of course. And like I said, next month we'll get to the Sin Eater stuff. So Sin Eater was mentioned here. Sin Eater was mentioned here real quick. And at Lilith, he's been showing up in Amazing Spider-Man recently. So
I know. I don't know why, but I know.
sounds hot. Yeah. What, the demons? Or you Saddam Hussein? Yeah, guy. All right.
South Park, you need to make a comeback, by the way. You've been sorely missed.
All right. Should we get out of here?
Yes.
All right. So, yes, everyone, send your thoughts next time. Spectacular Spider-Man 148. It's the Flash show. So, send them thoughts. You know, you're going to have them, good or bad. Email us, capesandlunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember to follow Ultimate Spider-Cast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Hey, go join speaking of Web of Spider-Man, our Facebook group, we're closing in on 1,000 members. So,
woohoo!
Yeah, I think we're over 950.
Good job, buddy.
I think we're somewhere around 960. So yeah, get in so you can.
Come on, give me the 969 at least, guys. Come on.
You could say you were one of the originals before we hit the 1,000 and went all commercial. All right, so find links to all of those. Links to this YouTube where you can now watch Lilith Hellfire. Sometimes. Links to the Patreon where soon you'll be able to hear our uncensored movie reviews and Lilith Hellfire's Hollywood conspiracy theories. Links to merch, links to everything all in one place. That's Linktree, linktr.ee/capesandlunatics. And remember to support our sponsors, Tweaked Audio.
Get yourself some headphones if you don't have flipping good hearing.
That's right. You want to keep yourself from being brainwashed by crazy cult? Get some headphones. You'll hear nothing else but crystal clear HD audio.
Rob would be proud.
Oh, shut up, Chad. Links to Phil's classes. They're blue blockers. Don't you listen? Power of Chad. Kicked you in Noel's butt in that last hunt for Khonshu's golden scepter. Anyway, so yes. So get yourself some Tweaked Audio and go pick up Hunt a Killer.
Michelle Gray needs our help, guys. They might even be doing a cult edition. So, get in on the ground floor while you can. Before there's too many crossovers.
Use the code Southgate for both of those for a discount. See, you can't take this from me. I love watching your face while we're doing this. Just every eye roll, every middle finger, every eye roll. See, kids, smash that subscribe button for the YouTube. Come on.
Smash it. So you don't have to look for the button.
Smash it.
What?
I got you. You don't need to look for the button. I got it.
The hard was implied.
That taste is still in my mouth.
All right, and go pick up Pod Life, the book, now in digital and paperback. Learn about the ins and outs of podcasting from the experts.
Hey, Rob, where's my audiobook? My wife demands it.
Oh, that's right. Wardell does not read. That's right.
Just the way I like it.
Oh boy, you're turning into Charlie. Where's my audiobook? Oh, we're speaking of, yeah, Rob, I'll get you my chapter soon.
Charlie's got you covered, Phil. Don't worry.
When I was a young boy growing up in Pittsburgh. So yes, get that on Amazon. You can get that on Amazon, digital or paperback. And when you do, use the link for Southgate Media Group right down there in the show notes. Help us support this show, this crazy cult of a network, and teacher himself, Rob Master Doom Southgate.
Make it rain. So says Master Doom.
You're weak sauce. Why did your eye drift over to my box? Mark my words.
Lilith Hellfire.
Ooh. If you guys want to follow me on the interwebs, you can find me on Twitter at Lilith Hellfire. Over on the gram for puppies and smoothies, y'all know the deal. Lilith Hellfire 86. For memes, Lilith Hellfire 69 on Instagram and the TikTok.
Pickle.
Yes, the internet is a fickle pickle.
Nobody tell Rob.
You haven't had one.
No. Nobody told Brian.
Nobody tell Brian.
And it's Spider-Man, so
Bye, Felicia.
it's like
More
your
bye, Betty.
that's your see you later, bunkies.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you, Lil Hellfire. Thank you, the power of Chad. Glad you could tear yourself away from those pizza pockets. That's right. Check out Into the Night, Evil Night podcast for that joke. But until next time, swing on back.
Thwip.